All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening if you're catching me on today's replay. My name is CJ Curry. It is the CJ Curry Show. It is presented by my friends over at PrizePicks. If you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, real simple stuff here. You pick anywhere from 2 up to 6 of your favorite superstars from your favorite sports. You decide if they're going to go for more or less on their different player projections. You can win up to 25 times your money by getting 6 out of 6 correct. And if you haven't made a deposit on PrizePicks before, make your first deposit. Use my special promo code, Code Curry, and they'll match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100. That's a 100% instant deposit match. So I've left a link down for you in the description of today's video for you to get going on PrizePicks. Lots of NBA games tonight, huge NBA slate. So I'm excited to be here with you, and we're going to break it all down and try to find some of the best picks, props, and plays today out there on the PrizePicks board. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with me in Dub Club. We had a pretty strong day yesterday. Lots of NFL picks that were posted to Dub Club members in our Eyes on the Prize Discord. That's right, you see it. I got the Eyes on the Prize official merch coming soon. This is one of the new tees that I've put together, that I've curated. You got the Eyes on the Prize patch here on the chest. This is a berry colorway, and then you got the little Eyes on the Prize abbreviated patch here on the right sleeve. So this is just one of the different t-shirt options and colorways that'll be coming your way real soon. I'm working hard behind the scenes to finish up, putting the bow on the finishing touches for the Eyes on the Prize merchandise for you guys. So store coming soon, merch coming soon, so you guys can support if you want. Keep your eyes out for the Eyes on the Prize merch store coming real soon. All right. Shout out to everybody that's joining me in the live chat, all 93 people. Hey, big ups to all 93 of you. And those of you who watched in the last show, I think was on Saturday, everybody hit that like button. We went over 100 likes once again. I'm going to try and keep that streak alive, but I need your help. I can't do it myself. I can only hit the like button once. That's where you guys come in. Those of you who are watching, hit the like button. Let's run the likes up to over 100 or more likes yet again. We've hit that on every single one of these live streams, every show for this NBA season. We went for 100 or more likes. So I'm going to set the line at 99.5 likes. I think with your help, we can get over 99.5 likes by the time I hit end on today's show. Appreciate your support, and thank you for always being here and showing up and showing out. Let's say what's up to some folks. We got Ali in the building who says he's first. You indeed were first today. I witnessed that with my own 2 eyes. Bearded Gators here. Good morning to you. Jacob's in the building, ready to get after it. No Limit Chino, you flex. I got to flex back in my Eyes on the Prize berry colored t-shirt. Dre Day says the Dub Club NFL list was on fire yesterday. I hit a 6 pick, and now I got next month's payment secured. If you hit a 6 pick, my brother, you probably got next month's payment secured. You probably got the next 6 months payment secured, if we're being honest with you. Dub Club, by the way, just $20 a month, 67 cents per day, breaks out to be pretty cheap and affordable for most people out there. I just left a link for you guys in the live chat. Those of you who are rocking with me live, if you want to join the Dub Club, if you want access to winning picks each and every day, and a kick-ass community of like-minded individuals who aren't going to unit shame you, who aren't going to judge you if you decide that you wanted to take, this pick or that pick. Like, we're one big happy family. We're one big happy community. We're all trying to see each other eat and win and thrive together. So if you want to be a part of something like that, if that sounds cool to you, join the Eyes on the Prize Discord, join the Dub Club, get those accounts connected, and then you'll automatically get access to all the private channels that we have set up in Discord for you Dub Club supporters out there, all right? But shout out to you, Dre Day. Huge day. We'll take a look at Winner's Circle and see who cashed out on some plays yesterday. Michael's in the building. Let's go. Money Making Monday. Wesley Winston, we live. Yes, we are live. Thank you, Wes, for being here. Ricky says that Jonathan Taylor killed some slips yesterday. I hate to hear that. Jonathan Taylor did not play so great yesterday. Mike from the Fours, he's flexing. I got to flex back. That's just the way it goes, guys. It's a natural reaction. When you flex at me, I'm flexing back. I ain't backing down from you. I ain't backing down. Everyday Fantasy, what it do? That's our guy, Don P. Shout out to Don P. If you're in Discord, you know Don P is always helping out. One of our outstanding community members, an all-star in his own right. Chris Raptor, big day of NBA today. but 0 NBA tomorrow. What's going on with that? You said it's because of voting? Because of voting for what? What are we voting on? CBG or GBG Quan says CJ Curry. Yeah, what's up, bro? I'm here. Shout out to you. D'Angelo Sinning says, morning gang, I cashed in the winner's circle. We'll see about that. We're going to go look for you. Taylor says, huge dubs yesterday. Yo, Taylor went up, what? 3 racks or something like that. 2-3 racks yesterday. Taylor had himself a fantastic day. That's our guy Soy Sauce in the Discord. If you saw Soy Sauce in the winner's circle, well, he had himself a day. Jacob says, let's get back to the 100 likes. We're gonna do it. I ain't even worried about it. Pretty Boy Kenny says he hit for 500 yesterday. That's a big day. Chris is in the building. Fernando, shout out to you. Last in Limbo, what's up to you? Matt Perez is in the building. Love the swag. Hey, research prevails. I love that you love the swag. Handmaid's in the building says, good morning. Shout out to you. Thanks for the great kitchen picks yesterday. Won with a few of them. Good to hear. Good to hear. That's what I'm here for, man, to try and help you guys win a little bit more. Matt Perez, big and tall approved. Yeah, you know, the merch is big and tall approved. I'm a big and tall fella. All right. So if you're a big and tall fella, don't worry. These shirts are going to cover up all of those curves and all those edges. All those perfect imperfections. These shirts got you covered, big boy. Don't worry about it. Big boy approved. Anthony says, let's go. It's Money Making Monday. Brian's in the building. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Brian. I don't know how old you are, but to see another year on God's green earth is a blessing. So shout out to you. Happy birthday. Only Locks, a music group in the Brooklyn, New York. You're right. You're right. The Locks is the only, the Locks, the rap group, is the only Locks that we acknowledge on this channel. I'm sorry. There ain't no Locks besides Jada Kiss, Styles P, and Chic Luch. Kiara's in the building. Shout out to you. Good morning. Michael, I see you. We making bank today on this big NBA slate. Love that. Love that confidence. Love that swag. Love that energy that you're putting forward. Steven's in the building. Shout out to Steven. Alexis, where can I find the Discord? Links to the Discord are down in the description of today's video. Links to the Dub Club. I just dropped a link to the Dub Club, so you can join the Dub Club if you want. You can get to the Discord through that Dub Club link, I believe, as well. So anyway, big day of NBA today, guys. Let's get down to the bee's knees and see what's going on here around the Discord. First of all, we want to take a look at yesterday's winner's circle, because we had a lot of folks that were cashing out, that were getting green on our Discord and on our picks that were provided to Dub Club members. You got Lakia here hitting on a 6 pick. Got AJ Brown over fantasy score. That was one of the picks I posted. Jalen Hurts over fantasy score. Another one of the picks that I posted for Dub Club members. Mick Finesse coming through with a nice $180 come up. He took Lamb, Brown, Chuba Hubbard, and Joe Burrow over fantasy score. All picks that I provided for members yesterday. All 6 of these picks, yes, provided by yours truly. So you turned $30 into $750 by tailing the right picks. Congratulations to you. And this is just a preview or sample, quick little skim through of everybody that won yesterday. There's a Champagne Poppy, our guy D'Angelo Sinning, had a nice day yesterday. Here's another one of our Dub Club members. Again, the 4 pick that I threw out there, he went with a same game parlay with Lamb, Brown, Smith, and Hurts, all over fantasy score, turned 25 into 250. Here's our guy Soy Sauce, $100 into $1,000 with a 4-pick play that I put out there for members. Higgins, Burrow over fantasy score. He went with the Brown Hurts stack as well over fantasy score. Quick 10x for my guy Soy Sauce. But this is the big one. He was probably the biggest winner from yesterday. This one right here really stood out to me. He had a 6-pick flex in there, put 100 on it. All fantasy score except for DeAndre Swift. He had DeAndre Swift going over 13.5 rushing attempts. 100 into 2,500, but like, what, 4 out of 6 of these picks were picks that I threw out there for Dub Club members. So I'm just saying, guys, it's $20 a month. You win one $10 2-pick power play. The Dub Club's going to pay itself off in no time. All right, absolutely no time. So if you're, again, looking for a good community, if you're looking for some people that are friendly, that are all about getting those dubs, well, we got it. All right, the Eyes on the Prize Discord's the place to be. All right, taking a look at today's NBA slate, guys. We got, a really big one, And news just came out recently that's probably going to upset a lot of Chet Holmgren backers. A lot of people were jumping on Chet Holmgren's early lines? Well, I got news for you that you ain't going to want to hear. SGA has now been upgraded to questionable tonight. I think a lot of people were assuming that SGA would not play for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, guess what, guys? He has now been listed as questionable, which means there's a chance, more of a chance that he plays than not. He went from probably being out or doubtful to questionable. So his status upgraded. You might see some Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out there tonight for the Thunder. Jimmy Butler, knee is probable. Jimmy hasn't quite been right yet. I don't feel comfortable taking any Jimmy Butler overs just yet. I don't know. Some weird stuff going on with Jimmy Butler to start the season. I'm kind of staying away from him and most of the Miami Heat for that reason. RJ Barrett also dealing with a knee issue. He's questionable, so keep an eye on that. If he is out, obviously you'll see more minutes for guys like Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly off the bench, Josh Hart, obviously. So definitely stay tuned for that New York Knicks news. Markelle Fultz is out for Orlando. He's missed the last couple of games dealing with a knee issue. So more Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, the rookie from Arkansas, has been playing some minutes, some good minutes for Orlando. So that backcourt rotation changes just a little bit, but sucks to see Markelle Fultz dealing with injuries this early on in the season. Devin Vassell, adductor, is unlikely to play, so he might be out. Derek White is going to play. It sounds like the personal issue he was dealing with in the last game that held him out is out of the way, and Derek White looks like he is probable to play. Denny Adija dealing with an ankle. He's questionable, as is his teammate, big man Daniel Gafford, dealing with an ankle issue himself. So the Wizards might be a little shorthanded if both of those guys can't go. I mean, it's going to be Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma just absolutely carrying the load. You could see major usage, even beyond what their high usage is already, if both Adija and Daniel Gafford are out. So that's your injury news. Guys, you need to stay on top of this stuff. This is important. I know a lot of y'all like to jump in and get your picks in early, but in the case of Chet Holmgren here, as an example, now that SGA might play tonight, your Chet Holmgren overs might be in danger. I'm just saying. It's kind of important that you keep your eye on the news and maybe you wait a little bit. Maybe you pump the brakes and not be in such a haste and hurry to get those entries in. Anyway, that's what you have to look forward to today. Guys, let's jump into today's Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer plays. You see that most of the plays up on the PrizePicks board right now is PrizePicks board and Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer board are fantasy score plays. Now, there can be some value found in these plays. A lot of these are going to be under. So what the optimizer does, it goes out and looks at the sports books. It kind of puts together its own proprietary fantasy score projection by looking at the individual lines that make up a player's fantasy score. So stuff like points lines, rebound lines, assists, blocks, steal lines, turnover lines. It's able to look at all of those, see which way the juice or the bets are coming in on the overs and unders, and then give you a projected fantasy score. So like Mikal Bridges, for example, is at 34.5 fantasy score, but you're seeing him at 31.7. That's based on DraftKings Sportsbook odds. 32.7 based on Barstool, 32.6 based on BetMGM. So kind of gives you a fantasy score projection by looking at those individual markets that make up a player's fantasy score. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and turn fantasy score off. We'll turn fantasy score off and look at some of these other markets, because there is so many unders on the fantasy score. I just like to kind of skip over those and get down to more of your like single stat or combo projections. So we could turn those all off by unchecking that box, okay? And then when you do that on the optimizer, then it just will show you all the other markets, essentially. Your points, your rebounds, your assists, your rebounds and assists, your rebounds on their own, points combos. We could even turn those off too. I don't really like playing the combos, personally speaking. So I'm gonna turn the combos off as well. I wanna filter out those different categories. I wanna see the categories that are not combos, that are not fantasy score. And then if you guys have subscriptions to this optimizer, well, you can go and look at all those on your own. But for our intents and purposes today, we're going to turn off all the combos as well. All right, cool. So this should be all the player prop markets that everybody should have access to, no matter if you play on PrizePicks, if you play on a sports book, if you play on a different daily fantasy sports pick'em site like Underdog, Parlay Play, Boom, Hot Streak, Sleeper. All of this should apply to all of those different apps. So if there's something that we talk about and maybe you can't get it on PrizePicks, maybe you could go get it on a different app or something at a better line. It's important to line shop. But anyway, here's your top options. So, I mean, you could literally just go through and you could take Giddey under PRA. You could take Curry either under rebounds and assists or under rebounds. You could go ahead and build out a slip right here. Paolo Banchero over points and assists. Chet Holmgren under 2.5 assists. Michael Porter Jr. under a block. I mean, you've got, what, 5 to 10 picks that are showing themselves here on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So you could do that. You could go ahead and take what you see on the screen and put them in an entry if you want. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take a look at some of these different player prop projection sites, and I'm going to see if the projections are rocking with or rocking against what we're seeing here on the optimizer. So we'll refresh the optimizer because the plays, the picks, the props, they're always changing. This tool's so great because it allows you to capture value before the lines get bumped up, bumped down, or taken off the PrizePicks board. So if you want to take this for a spin, there's a link down in the description. 7-day free trial. You can try out the optimizer for yourself. Use code Curry. Use my special link. Again, it's down in the description of the video if you want to check it out. Let's start with this first pick, though. Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors on a back-to-back tonight. His rebounds and assist line sitting at 9.5. At that number, it looks like that the best way, according to the optimizer here and the data pulled from these sportsbooks, the best way to play this is to take the under at 9.5 rebounds and assists, giving us a 54.1% chance on what is otherwise a 50-50 prop, right? So we're getting a little bit of an edge, a 4.13 percentage in our favor. An advantage in our favor. And we're looking for those types of little edges and advantages. So now that we know that, let's go take a look at some projections for Steph Curry today in his rebounds and assists prop. All right, we want to see anything that's projected for less or under 9.5 rebounds and assists. So this first projection is provided by Fantasy Labs. When we type in Curry's name, we get a big projection actually at 11.5 rebounds and assists. So their projection models, which have been around for years now, have made people lots of money on DraftKings and FanDuel. Now they offer player prop projections for individual markets like points, rebounds, and assists and such. They've got him projected to go over his rebounds and assist line. Chris Monin is saying that NumberFire has Curry going over 9.5 rebounds and assists too. They've got him at 11.2. So you're getting a couple of projections here early on for Steph Curry to go over 9.5 rebounds and assists, which again would be a play that kind of flies in the face of the optimizer, right? You got all these projection models, RotoWire included, that have Curry going over 9.5 rebounds and assists. So would I play this on PrizePicks under 9.5? I probably wouldn't, just based on how much strong support that Steph Curry's getting on all these different projection models. NumberFire, RotoWire, Fantasy Lab, they all have Curry going over 9.5. So would I play it under on PrizePicks? I probably wouldn't. But if you can get this pick on another site that does not have fixed payouts, something like Hot Streak, something like Sleeper, or maybe you have sportsbook access where you live, maybe you take a shot at plus money for Curry to go over 9.5 rebounds and assists if you want to ride with the projections. Now, if you don't want to ride with the projections and you just want to go with this as being an EV play, well, then just take the under at 9.5 rebounds and assists. Maybe the optimizer and the juice on these sports books have got it right, and maybe the projection models have got it wrong. But for me, when I see two conflicting things here, like the optimizer saying take it one way, but the projection models are saying, hey, maybe you should think about taking it a different way. For me, that's just a red flag, and I leave it alone. I'm going to fade it. I'm going to leave it alone. All right. Lauri Markkanen just jumped up here at 8.5 rebounds under. 54.13% chance that Lauri Markkanen is going under 8.5 boards today. So 8 or fewer is what we kind of want to see when we go take a look at some of these projection models. So let's do that real quick. Now, just like with Curry, Markkanen has a big rebound projection of 10.3. So you've got a trusted projection model here. Now, projections aren't always 100% accurate, But then again, neither is the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. I mean, we're kind of, guessing. Nobody knows anything for sure with 100% certainty, right? That's why it's called gambling. They can call it a game of skill if they want, but it's gambling at the end of the day. So you've got, again, a conflicting projection for Markkanen's rebounds, 9.26 on a line of 8.5. That's two projection models saying take the over on Markkanen. We take a look at where he's at here on NumberFire. NumberFire's got him up at 8.9 rebounds. So for me, just like Steph Curry, I don't like the fact that I'm having to choose, right? With these multiple projection models, or I'm having to choose between the optimizer or those. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Somebody's going to win. Obviously, somebody's going to be right. It's either going to be the juice on the sports books, the way that the optimizer is telling you to go, or it's going to be these projection models. Which one? We don't know. We really don't know. That's why I like to look for projections where both of them kind of align and are in agreement, so we don't have to make those tough decisions. What about Curry for under 4.5 rebounds? We looked at the rebounds and assists, but what about Steph for just the boards? Once again, his rebound projections are pretty high, 6.5 rebounds. Now that might be a little bit too high. I mean, Curry can grab some boards. He does rebound pretty well, but 6.5 rebounds, that seems like a little high. Let's just check some other ones. Let's just do our due diligence here. Here's 5.8 projected rebounds. That's a little more reasonable for Steph. Take a look at NumberFire. They've got Curry sitting at 5.7 boards. So, once again, you're seeing projections for Curry to go over 4.5 rebounds. So which way are you going to go on this? Are you going to side with the optimizer and take him for under 4.5 boards based on all the juice that he's getting under 4.5 on these sports books? Or are you going to side with these projection models? You could play it both ways if you wanted to. You can hedge it. You could play one entry where Curry's going over 4.5 rebounds, and you could put him in another entry to go under 4.5. So you have decisions to make, tough decisions to make. And, I'm trying to avoid tough decisions. So let's take a look at the next one. Chet Holmgren, 2.5 assists under. As we mentioned, SGA just got listed as questionable, upgrade in his status for tonight's game. So will that impact Chet Holmgren's ability to drop dimes? Maybe, but the 2.5 number is pretty low. Chet Holmgren's got pretty good usage, meaning the ball's going to be in his hands quite a bit. Even with SGA out there, you would imagine that Chet Holmgren's going to have a pretty nice size role on this Oklahoma City Thunder. So 2.5 assists, under or over? Well, again, in this case, it's saying take the under. Now, if you wanted to wait for the SGA news, I don't blame you. Can't blame you there. Maybe you want to wait for a little bit more information to come out. Is SGA really in or out tonight? I mean, we don't know. He's questionable at the moment. So if you want to take the low and slow approach to the Thunder, by all means, not a terrible strategy or idea. I don't have a projection for him on Fantasy Labs. In fact, I don't have a Holmgren. Let's make sure we're spelling right. Let's go back to Fantasy Labs. Maybe I had his name spelled wrong. Come on, baby. Come on. Get it together. Yeah, 2.3 assists. Okay, so he's at 2.5. The juice is on the under. The projection has him at 2.3, so that puts him closer to 2 than it does 3 assists based on that projection. So you do have at least one projection there that has him going under. Here's another one, 2.2 assists on the line of 2.5. But again, if SGA ends up getting ruled out, well then, I don't know, do we still feel comfortable about taking Chet under 2.5 assists? So that's why I say maybe it's better to wait and see. This final projection for Holmgren, 2.3 assists as well. So everything has him projected for closer to 2 dimes than 3 dimes. So right now, at this moment, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, it looks like the under on Holmgren at 2.5 assists would be, in fact, a solid look, a solid play. Continue to scroll and scan through here. I just want to go through a few more of these, and then we'll take some of the questions from you guys who are watching. By the way, if you want to support the channel and you want to guarantee that your message is seen and read here on the show, well, then think about leaving a super chat. In your chat window, you'll see just a tiny little dollar bill icon just underneath that. You can click on that, leave a super chat for me. I'll read that on here live on the show. I'll do the research for you. We'll look at it together, and we'll see if it's a good play or not. So that's one thing that you can do, because there's so many more of you than there are me. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's comment, everybody's question in the live chat. I'm going to get to as many as I can, but I can't get to them all. It's just the facts. It's just the nature of the beast. But Brook Lopez is at 5.5 rebounds. Now, based on the 5.5 rebounds, it's saying that we should be thinking about taking Brook Lopez for under 5.5 rebounds, giving us about a 53.7% chance that he gets 5 or fewer boards. So let's peep Brook Lopez real quick and see if going under his 5.5 boards makes sense or not. And we're going to put some projections to this play and see how things check out. Now, Brook is going up against his former team, the once upon a time New Jersey Nets, now Brooklyn Nets. He's projected for 5.3 boards against the Nets. Lopez, never really known as a strong rebounder throughout his career, even with his time with the Nets when he was a young, spry big man for them. So I can understand why he might be projecting to go under tonight. You take a look at where he's at here on RotoWire, though, 7.2 projected rebounds. So you got one slight under, one pretty big over projection. Let's take a look at a third projection here to kind of break this tie. And Number Fire's got him up at 5.9, putting him over 5.5 boards. So again, tough decision, right? Optimizer says take the under. Everybody seems to be betting the under. Is it sharp money, or is it, a bunch of donkeys that are betting on this, on these sports books, causing this line to be an underplay? I don't know. We don't know who's out there. Hopefully it's sharp money, but you just never know, right? But what I can tell you is that 2 out of the 3 projection models have him going over tonight. So again, another tough standoff that we have to decide which side we want to be on. Do we want to be on the projections, or do we want to be on the optimizer? Uh-oh. Did the optimizer just go poo-poo on us? Let's refresh and see if we can get it back up here. While that's deciding if it wants to load or not, good time to show you the correlation tool on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. I know some of you tune in and you're asking about NFL picks and stuff. The correlation tool is a pretty sweet feature. Now, it shows the correlation tool performance here as of 8/18, which is August the 18th of this year. From that date up until today's date, the correlation tool's performance up over 520 total units year to date since August the 18th until now. That's pretty massive. So that's a 32.81% return on investment per wager. So the correlation tool is just another one of the tools in the toolkit that the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer provides. So if you're looking for an entry for tonight's NFL game, here is the top correlated NFL entry for tonight. Giving this away for free for those who need something to play tonight on the Monday Night Football game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the New York Jets. So some of you have questioned me in the past, do you get into the NFL? I absolutely get into the NFL. Dub Club members know, like I said yesterday, we had ourselves a pretty strong showing. A lot of people won based on the NFL picks that I posted for Dub Club members. But here you go. It would be Herbert over 249.5 passing yards. It would be Gerald Everett over 26.5 receiving yards. It would be Austin Eckler over 34.5 receiving yards. And it would be Zach Wilson to go over 216.5 passing yards, along with Garrett Wilson to go over 67.5 receiving yards, and Thomas Morstead, the punter in this case for the New York Jets, to punt fewer than 5 times. 4.5 is his line, so fewer than 4.5 punts. So if you want to, we could go and we can lock this correlated entry in from the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer correlation tool. So that's Herbert, Everett, Eckler. Let's go and put those guys in the in our entry now. Herbert, Wilson, Eckler over receiving yards. I think Garrett Wilson was on there for receiving yards. Gerald Everett was on there for receiving yards. And then we had the punter in Morstead, right? So everybody was an over for the yardage. Herbert, Wilson, Eckler, Garrett Wilson, receiving yards, Gerald Everett, the tight end, and then Morstead, I believe, was an under for 4.5 punts. Cool. All right, so there's your correlated 6 pick. We had to take a little bit of a detour here, but I wanted to show off the correlation tool for NFL. And I mean, I'm not going to look into this any further. I'm just going to ride with what it's telling me to ride with. We'll put, what do I have in my account? It's $2,629.20. Let's put $20.20 on it to get rid of that 20 cents in my account. And then we'll lock this 6 pick correlated entry in here on PrizePicks. So you guys are looking for something to play for NFL. Here's a 6 pick from the correlation tool. Take your screenshots, get it in. If you haven't gotten it in yet, here, I'll pose for your screenshots. Boom. All right, all screenshots in, hopefully good to go. But yeah, there's a 6 pick for you guys who are looking for an NFL pick tonight. All right, so let's go back to the NBA now, clear that out. Let's see if the optimizer's back up. It is. You see that? Look at me, man. Just making stuff happen here on the fly. So the optimizer's back up for NBA, so we could get back in talking to some more NBA picks. But we just blessed you guys with a 6 pick correlated slip from the correlation tool on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer while we wait. See, never a dull moment here. Never a dull moment. Pays to play. Pays to watch too. All right, so back to NBA we go. Miles Turner just popped up. Bruce Brown just popped up. Was there some Indiana Pacer news that has dropped? Was there any Indiana Pacer news? Or like, I'm just wondering why these Pacers are now like all popping up on the Optimizer. Turner, Brown, Turner again, Obi Toppin. Did anybody get ruled out for Indiana or something? Let me see. I just refreshed the news feed here on Underdog. Keldon Johnson is now up on the board as an piece of injury news. So we already had Devin Vassell, who is listed out. Keldon Johnson, also a San Antonio Spur, dealing with a wrist issue, is now listed as questionable, but I don't see anything here about any Indiana Pacers, so not quite sure, but those Pacer props are popping here on the Optimizer. Miles Turner, your top NBA play right now, as far as non-fantasy score plays. Almost a 56% chance that he goes under 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So Miles Turner under 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists, almost a 56% chance. So that's pretty huge. You don't really see that type of value pop up and stay up for very long on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So that could be a play that you just lock and load and roll with, being that you're getting about a 56% chance of it hitting for you. Let's take a look real quick at Turner and his projections. He's projected for 30 points, rebounds, and assists going up against the Spurs tonight. Maybe they think that maybe the market is reacting here to the Spurs injury news. So we know Devin Vassell's out. Keldon Johnson just popped up on the injury list for San Antonio. So maybe people are rushing to take unders on the Indiana Pacers because they think this game's going to turn into a one-sided affair, a blowout, in other words. They probably think Indiana's going to beat the brakes off of the Spurs if Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell are both out. That's my guess. That's the conclusion that I'm going with, that they must think that this game is now going to turn into a blowout without Keldon Johnson and without Devin Vassell. So that's why you're probably seeing all the the Indiana Pacer unders, like Bruce Brown under 18.5 points and rebounds, like Miles Turner under 26.5 points and rebounds, like Obi Toppin under 14.5 points and rebounds. I think the market's reacting to the Spurs news, the Keldon Johnson news, that he is questionable with a wrist injury. So if you guys also believe that this game's going to turn into a blowout and that your veterans like Turner and Bruce Brown won't play big minutes tonight because it will get out of hand, then you should probably jump on these unders because they're probably not going to last very long. Miles Turner's PRA already got bumped down. Now you got Brown, 18.5 PR, Toppin, 14.5 PR, and Turner, 26.5 PR. All pretty big under values here. So let's take a look at Turner's points and rebounds. Let's see if these projections may have updated for Miles Turner now. Points, rebounds, and assists for Turner was at 30. It's still at 30. So maybe the models and the projections haven't updated just yet. Here's Turner at 28 points and rebounds. Bruce Brown projected for 17 points and rebounds. His line is 18.5. So you could jump on Bruce Brown under 18.5 points and rebounds. Nice projection there for him. Obi Toppin was sitting at 14.5 points and rebounds. Let's take a look at his PR line. 14 on a line of 14.5. So out of these three, I would probably say take Bruce Brown because he was projected for just 17 on a line of 18.5 if it hasn't gotten bumped down already. Could have probably gotten bumped down. Let's just go take a peek real quick. Yep, he's down to 17.5 now. No surprise. I told you guys that value will dry up quick. But it seems like a lot of people jumped on the unders for Indiana now that the Spurs are going to be without two of their best players in Devin Vassell and potentially Keldon Johnson. Is Toppin still up there at 14.5? Let's take a look. Points and rebounds. I mean, Toppin's still there at 14.5. If you wanted to take his under, you could. He is projected to go under. Somebody's saying, Chris Raptor saying, take the overs and buy low. That could be a move. You could potentially jump on these lines now that they have been bumped down. Maybe the Spurs with Wembanyama make this game more competitive than what people are thinking here. That could be an option. You could wait for all the lines to get bumped down because they will be getting bumped down if they haven't bumped down yet. Looks like a lot of the Indiana lines. Here's another one for you. Turner, 8.5 rebounds is now an under. So that's why all the Indiana players have popped up on the optimizer for under. People are flooding the market, taking the unders on these different Indiana Pacer props because they don't think that this game is going to remain competitive. They think the Pacers are going to see fewer minutes, the Pacers starters. So that's how you react to news right there. I know people think like, oh, well, they just pulled all the Spurs off the board because Devin Vassell's out and Keldon Johnson's questionable. So they just pulled all the Spurs off the board. Now, your first thing is like, well, then who benefits on the Spurs with those guys being out, right? But what a lot of people don't quickly think about is, well, what about the other side of this game? How does that impact the Indiana Pacers in this case? So maybe that mindset, when a player gets ruled out on a team, don't think about how it impacts the players on that team. Think about how it impacts the game overall. Think about how it impacts the players on the other side of the game. And in this case, a lot of people just swarmed and took a lot of Indiana Pacer unders, thinking that this game is just not going to stay close. So interesting. Here's some more news or more picks that's probably a result of news. So we talked about SGA being listed as questionable. So the market, again, people are reacting to that news. They're looking at somebody like Jalen Williams at 22.5 points and rebounds, and they're taking the under because now they're starting to warm up to the idea that SGA is going to be out tonight or in tonight. Thought he was going to be out, but now it looks like SGA is going to be in tonight. So now you're seeing Jalen Williams in real time here. People rushing to bet the under on Jalen Williams thanks to the SGA news. So again, if you believe that SGA is probably going to play tonight, being that his status has been upgraded to questionable from being ruled out to questionable, take an opportunity to drive on over to PrizePicks and take the Jalen Williams under 22.5 points and rebounds. Robert Maddox says, just wondering, with us knowing PrizePicks usually adjusts at 11 a.m., PrizePicks adjusts at all hours of the day. Ask the people who play esports props on PrizePicks. They adjust at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, PrizePicks is literally nonstop adjusting lines. They're bumping stuff up 24/7 around the clock, my friends. It wouldn't matter if I went live at 11 a.m. Eastern time or 12 p.m. Eastern time. PrizePicks is bumping stuff up, whether I go live at all or not. It's just the facts. It's just the way that it is. They're going to react to how bets and money is coming into their app. So, Robert, I mean, it wouldn't matter if I went live now or half an hour earlier, hour earlier. I mean, you see stuff right now in real time. We're live right now, and stuff is being bumped up and bumped down. The Pacers, the Oklahoma City Thunder props. It's because news comes out, and then people react quickly to that news, and they capture value. So Jalen Williams under 22.5 points and rebounds. I don't know how long it's going to stay at 22.5 points and rebounds, because taking the under now is the advantageous move, assuming that SGA is going to play tonight. Now, we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure if SGA is going to be in or not. So, I mean, if you want to play it real safe, maybe you're not a gambler. Maybe you're somebody whose risk tolerance levels aren't very high. Well, then wait for all the news to come out and then make your decisions accordingly. But you can also find an edge or an advantage by moving early, being an early mover, first mover here, like on a Miles Turner under 8.5 rebounds, 54% chance. Let's go take a peek. I'll refresh the projections and see if they've updated it all and changed it all. Remember, we had Turner at 30 PRA before. He's still at 30 PRA now. His rebounds projections at 9.4 against San Antonio tonight. So 9.4 is still higher than 8.5. Appreciate the super chat, Brent. I'll get to that and the other super chats in just a moment. But 9.4 puts him over 8.5. Again, maybe that line changes at some point. Let's just go take a look at some other projections for Miles Turner. If you're thinking about taking the under on his rebounds at 8.5, I want to give you some more information on that, more data to consider. 9.6 projected boards, according to RotoWire. And let's refresh Number Fire as well and see if they have him going for more or less on his 8.5 rebounds. They have actually got him down to 8.2 boards going up against the Spurs tonight. So one of the models has Turner going under 8.5. The other two have him going slightly over 8.5. Here are some more unders popping up for you Oklahoma City Thunder fans out there. If you want to jump on value, here's value. Josh Giddey under 23.5 points and assists. The market is reacting in real time to the news that SGA is now listed as questionable, that there's a good chance that maybe SGA plays tonight. So if you want to roll the dice that SGA will be in, you can snatch up some value on Josh Giddey under 23.5 points and assists. 54% chance that he stays under 24 points and assists right now. How does that project out? Well, let's go look. 20.2 points and assists, which puts him under. That's good value. That's good projection. Taking a look at another one here. 21.8 points and assists for Giddey. So under 23.5 points and assists looks like a solid move. There's the bump on Obi Toppin, 14.5 down to 13.5 points and rebounds. So they did get around to bumping Toppin down, along with the other Indiana Pacers that we were looking at before. It'll probably be not too long here before Josh Giddey gets bumped down. Now he's at 22.5 points and assists. So you guys see what's happening here in real time. I'm showing you what's going on, right? Is Jalen Williams still at 22.5 points and rebounds? I mean, that could have gotten bumped too. We just saw Giddey get bumped down a whole point and a whole assist. You guys got to snatch this value up before it slips away, man. 22.5 points and rebounds. So that line is still strong for Jalen Williams if you wanted to take him for less than 22.5 points and rebounds. I haven't locked anything in because I'm here trying to help you guys jump on this value before the value gets away. But here you go. 21.5 points and rebounds, Hawks and Thunder tonight. It sounds like SGA might take the floor tonight, being that his status is questionable. He went from out to questionable. 21.3 points and rebounds. Another projection on RotoWire putting Jalen Williams under his line of 22.5. So it'll be just a matter of time here before J-Dub gets bumped down to probably 21.5 points and rebounds. All right, two solid projections. Both have Williams going under 22.5 points and rebounds, though. So we'll monitor that situation. I'm sure it's going to get bumped any minute, though. Julius Randle, rebounds and assists at 13.5. The under looking like the move. Maybe we pair him up with the under for Jalen Williams. 13.5 rebounds and assists. Almost a 54% chance that Julius Randle stays under. So let's take a look at some Randle projections. Maybe we can make a quick 2-pick power play if everything checks out with Julius Randle. 15 projected rebounds and assists. Randle taking on the Clippers tonight. So that does put him over. Not what we were wanting to see. We were wanting to see an under on that one, right? Here you go. Here's an under. 13.2 rebounds and assists on a line of 13.5. That's better. If we're thinking about taking the under, that's better. That's more like what we want to see. And then a third projection, we got to break the tie because we got one projected over. We got one projected under, right, on Randle. 9.2 rebounds plus 4.1 dimes puts him at 13.3 rebounds and assists. Slightly under, but under nonetheless. So it doesn't look like a home run to go over based on the projections. So I would lean toward the under. So you could take Randle under rebounds and assists with that Jalen Williams line. But there you go. I called it. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to get bumped, guys. Hopefully some of you guys snatched it a whole point and rebound lower now than where he was just a moment ago. Lots of value. We're finding it right here for you guys. That's the value of these shows, of these live streams. We're looking at these picks together. I'm hoping that you guys are jumping on some of these, making some 2-pick power plays, making some quick decisions and reacting to the way that the market is changing and moving in real time. I hope you're taking advantage. Now, whether or not these picks will hit or not, that's out of our control. What we can control is that we captured good value. And it's indisputable that we've captured value because the lines are getting bumped down, right? In the favor that, in our favor in this case. So it's absolutely good value on these picks. They just got to go out and underperform in this case if you're taking the under. But here's another one. Will this one get bumped? I don't know. I mean, it's one of the top plays on the optimizer. It could get bumped at any moment. Right. If Shea's not playing, then Williams and all these other Thunder picks that are getting bumped down, they're going to be in trouble. These unders are going to be in trouble. We're assuming that he is playing, though, because his status went from being out. He's now been elevated to questionable, which is a good step in the right direction of him taking the floor tonight. So that's why the market's reacting the way that they are to this SGA news of him going from being out to questionable. It's actually an upgrade in his availability tonight. So time to reverse the PrizePicks bumps. Listen, you can. Maybe you time when you reverse them. Maybe you wait. You got your finger hovering right over the pick that you want. Maybe you wait for that SGA news, the final SGA update to come out closer to tip-off, and then you fire away. Wait for the news and try to time it right, because there's a small window right after that news. Let's just fast forward. Let's say it's about 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then the SGA news comes out that SGA is going to be out tonight. Out tonight. That would be an opportunity for you to pounce on some overs on guys like Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. If you can time it right and SGA happens to be ruled out closer to tip-off, then you can find some fantastic value and then you could jump on the overs. I wouldn't take them right now, though. I'd wait for that news. If he is ruled out, then you jump on the Oklahoma City Thunder overs. But you got to time it right. You got to be available, first of all. As soon as that news comes out, you got to have the app open. You got to have your OKC Thunder picks already preloaded, and then you jump on the overs. But until then, I don't know that I would jump on any overs right now. Wouldn't reverse them right this moment, in other words. All right. So those are some picks. If there's anything else that pops up on the optimizer while we're here chatting, I'll definitely bring it to your attention. But right now, it seems like all of the value that we just saw has kind of been sucked out of the PrizePicks app. I mean, you still got Holmgren under 2.5 assists. But even if SGA is in tonight, that's still one of those lines where Holmgren could probably hit with or without SGA. It becomes a little more difficult with SGA in for him to hit the over at 2.5, in my opinion. Becomes maybe a little closer to an underplay with SGA in. If SGA is out, then I think this is a good over option. But right now, you still have that value out there. You still have the Turner under 8.5 rebounds out there. And again, the under for Turner is because the Spurs players are going to be, they're going to be sitting out tonight. We know Devin Vassell's out. We're waiting on Keldon Johnson confirmation, but he has been now downgraded to questionable from probable to questionable. So you're seeing some of these props, the market reacting in real time. Let's get to some of these super chats real quick, though. Appreciate those who left those super chats. Thank you for waiting. Kind of got taken for a ride there with all the market movement for the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. Everyday Fantasy coming through with a super chat. He's got Trey Jones. Is that Trey Jones? I always get the Jones brothers mixed up. Over 3.5 3-point makes, and Tobias Harris for over 3.5 3-point makes as well. Both are fire and will get bumped. Okay, both are fire and will get bumped. All right, we'll take a look at both of those. Let's get those loaded up here on PrizePicks. Randall under 13.5, still looking like a smooth move for those who are just joining. But you've got Jones and Tobias Harris over their 3-point makes. So Tyus Jones, not Trey Jones, Tyus Jones. See, never know what Jones they're talking about. But Tyus Jones of the Washington Wizards over 3.5. Oh, you said makes. Did you mean attempts, brother? You had him for over 3.5 3-point makes. I'm assuming you meant attempts because there is no 3-point make for Tyus. All right, we'll assume that he meant 3-point attempts. Let's look at Tobias as well. Tobias Harris was the other one that you mentioned. I'm assuming you also meant 3-point attempts, not makes for him too. Both of these guys are at 3.5 3-point attempts. All right, so you got Tyus Jones, Tobias Harris, both over. Super chat left by Dave Gutierrez. He had Jalen Suggs for more than 1.5 turnovers. Now that could be a sneaky good play. Why could that be a sneaky good play? Well, we talked about Markelle Fultz being ruled out tonight for Orlando. He's not going to play against Dallas. And you'd probably see Jalen Suggs maybe get a little bit more minutes, a little bit more ball handling duties. He's kind of a combo guard. I wouldn't say he's going to be running point or anything like that. You might see Anthony Black. I believe Anthony Black's been starting for Orlando at that point guard spot alongside of Jalen Suggs in that backcourt. But Jalen Suggs might handle the ball a little bit more. He might be bringing the rock up for the Orlando Magic without Fultz. So just like Dave mentioned, Fultz is out. So Suggs probably going to have more ball handling duties. So we'll take a look at that one for Dave Gutierrez. We've also got Brent in the building. Brent, thank you for the super chat. I'm wondering about the Greek Freak. So Giannis Antetokounmpo at 37.5 points and rebounds. Let's go take a look at Giannis real quick. Giannis has he been a little sluggish, a little slow to kind of come out of the gates? I think he's still trying to figure out how to play alongside of Damian Lillard, but we'll have to take a look at them game logs for Giannis. So we'll look at that one for Brent. Dude just left a super chat. You got James Harden debuting tonight for the Los Angeles Clippers. James Harden leading the league in assists last season as the starting point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers. But of course, he's been traded recently. And tonight he's going to take the floor for the first time for the Clippers. His line for assists are set at 5.5. And it seems like Dude wants to take the over at 5.5. Now, the big question on James Harden is going to be, how much is he going to play tonight against the Knicks? How much is he going to play? And what is his role going to look like? Because you've got 4 really ball-dominant players on that team, right? James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. So I know you're saying that the line for James Harden's at 5.5 assists. That seems too low, but then you think about who he's playing alongside of, and there's only one basketball and 4 all-stars who want to have the ball, who need to have the ball in their hand. A lot of these guys don't play really well off the ball. I mean, Russell Westbrook playing off the ball, Kawhi, Paul George playing off the ball, James Harden playing off the ball. I mean, these are all ball-dominant guys. So for me, I think I'm going to take the wait-and-see approach, but we're going to look at this one for you. Because you did leave a super chat, I am going to dig as deep as I can for this one. But it's going to be an interesting dynamic with the Los Angeles Clippers and all of these questions, right? How many minutes and what's his role going to look like alongside of Westbrook and George and Leonard? So Randall, we've already certified him as an underplay. You can feel confident about taking that one. Let's look at these other ones, though. Tyus Jones, Tobias Harris, 3.5 3-point attempts. Again, everyday fantasy confident that these are probably going to get bumped up to 4 3-point attempts each. For this, I'm going to call on my friends at props.cash. Props.cash is great for situations like these, for player prop markets such as 3-point attempts. They really make your player prop research easy by providing you all of these advanced statistics, game logs in one easy to use app. So if you're not using props.cash yet, take it for a spin and save 25% on your first month by using code Curry. I've left a link for you guys down in the description of today's video. If you're not using props.cash yet, check it out. So we're going to go over to the 3-point make category on props.cash. We're going to head to our first player prop of Washington Wizards guard Tyus Jones. He's taking on the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. And again, sounds like Washington, rather. Washington might be shorthanded. Denny Adija listed as questionable, which might be a bump up for a guy like Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. And then you've also got Daniel Gafford, who's less impactful, but Daniel Gafford's also listed as questionable tonight. So we've got the 3-point category pulled up here. We're going to look at the 2023 season, just this season, games from this season. And you can scroll down a little bit, and you can actually take a look at different categories. And in this case, we want to look at the 3-point attempts. So there's little lovely charts here for all of these different categories. So for Tyus Jones, he's averaging 4.2 3-point attempts per game this season. He started off with 4, 8, 4, over. Last 2 games, he's seen a little bit of a dip in his 3-point attempts, just 3 against Atlanta, 2 against Miami. But overall, he's hit in 3 out of 5 games. So not terrible. Not a bad hit rate at 3.5 attempts. So that could be one to take a look at. You also mentioned Tobias Harris. Now, it's real simple here. On props.cash, they provide all the players that they have prop markets for from this game on the left-hand side here. So we just go to Tobias Harris and we click his name. And boom, we're instantly looking at Tobias Harris's 3-point attempt logs now. Pretty easy, really intuitive, really user-friendly. I encourage you guys to check out props.cash. So he's at 3.5 3-point attempts, just like Tyus Jones. Taking a look at this little chart here, you got him at 3 against Milwaukee. That's an under. But since then, he's went 4, 4, 6. Only 1 3-point attempt in his last game, which was against the Phoenix Suns. So overall, like Tyus Jones, he's gone over 3.5 3-point attempts in 3 out of his last 5 games. Not terrible. Decent hit rate. So now that we kind of know that he's averaging about 3.6 3-point attempts per game, thanks to props.cash, we can go and take a look at some projections. I don't know that Fantasy Labs is going to have 3-point attempt projections. They don't, but some of these other sites do, like a RotoWire, for instance. So let's pull Tobias Harris and Tyus Jones up for their 3-point attempts using RotoWire. So if you punch in Tobias's name, we go over here to the 3-point attempts column. You see that he's projecting for 4.7 3-point attempts, putting him over his line of 3.5 pretty handedly, a 1.2 3-point attempt projection differential. So taking the over on Harris at 3.5, not terrible looking. that's decent. You can also cross-reference this projection on a site like NumberFire. Now, NumberFire at face value here, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, I don't see a 3-point attempt category or column under here at all for NumberFire. So what you do to get 3-point attempts, you click on the player's name. In this case, Tobias Harris, it will open up this page. You'll see this page. And when you see this page, scroll down just a little bit, go to game log, and under game log right here, you'll see upcoming projections. Under the upcoming projections category, you will see 3-point makes, 3 PM, -A, 3-point makes, -3-point attempts. And Tobias is projected for 5 3-point attempts on NumberFire. So 4.7 on RotoWire, 5.0 on NumberFire. So 2 very nice over projections for Tobias Harris in his 3.5 3-point makes. Now I'm going to also take a look at LineStar. I don't know if LineStar is going to have projections for Tobias Harris, but let's just see. Let's geek out a little bit and see if they have his 3-point attempts on here. I don't see anything for 3-point attempts, but that's all right. We got NumberFire to look at. We got RotoWire to look at. He's projected pretty handily over 3.5 on both. So we'll leave Tobias Harris in there going up against his former team. That's right. He was once a Washington Wizard for a brief stint with the Wizards. So maybe he looks to get a few more shots up tonight against his old ball club. But over 3.5 attempts for Tobias Harris does look nice. Now, what about Tyus Jones? Let's pull some projections for Tyus Jones and his 3.5 3-point attempts. Now that Tobias Harris has been certified as a good play. Tyus Jones is projected for 4 3-point attempts. That's over 3.5. It's not as big of an over as Tobias Harris. So if you were to choose between these two, just strictly looking at the projections on RotoWire here, I would say that Tobias Harris may be a slightly better play than Tyus Jones. That's just what I'm gathering based on these projections. Let's also take a look at where he's at on NumberFire. Again, we're going to open up his player page here on NumberFire. We're going to scroll down just a little bit, go down to the Philadelphia 76ers game under upcoming projections, and you see he's projected for 4.8 3-point attempts on a line of 3.5. So another pretty healthy, pretty hardy over for Tyus Jones to go over 3.5 3-point attempts. So there you go. I think both of them check out. Decent hit rates for both, 3 out of 5 this season. Both of these guys going over. And solid projections for both of them to clear 3.5 3-point attempts. So, I mean, there's nothing more we can do here. I don't know how much more thorough we can be without spending 30 minutes on a single pick. But I mean, at some point, Jesus, take the wheel, right? These guys got to go out there and play basketball, and hopefully they shoot it up 4 or more times from beyond the arc. But, that we've looked at it is about as much as you can. You can go down the rabbit hole on any pick if you want and spend 30 minutes on each pick. I'd rather, look at some of these other options. But there's 3 options for you. Randall under 13.5 rebounds and assists. Tyus Jones over 3.5 3-point attempts. And Tobias Harris over 3.5 3-point attempts. So let's move on to the other 3 that are on this 6 pick that we've got loading here. We got Jalen Suggs at 1.5 turnovers. Jalen Suggs at 1.5 turnovers versus the Dallas Mavericks today. I believe that was Dave. Yeah, Dave was liking him to turn the ball over at least 2 times. So again, you go back to a site like props.cash here. You can go to the turnovers category, switch games, Dallas to Orlando. Click on Jalen Suggs. And we got big boy color charts here for this category for turnovers. So you can see in the last 3 games that Jalen Suggs has played in, he's turned the ball over 2 or more times in 3 straight games. He had 3 against the Clips, 3 against the Jazz, and 2 against the Lakers. Now, one other thing that you could do that's pretty cool. We're already looking at all the games from this season, but you can also take this a step further by applying a filter. And in this case, we could take a player like Markelle Fultz. We can take him off of the floor. Where's he at? Fultz. There he is. Games without Markelle Fultz. 2 games this season, played without Fultz. Suggs has went over in both games. 3 against Utah, 2 against the Lakers. So at 1.5 turnovers, without Fultz, 2 for 2, going up against a pretty tough Dallas Mavericks backcourt, taking Suggs over 1.5 doesn't look like a bad move. They rank 16th in turnovers forced, which is kind of like middle of the pack, right? They're not outstanding defensively at forcing turnovers. They're also not terrible. Nearly 15 turnovers per game forced against opposing teams. So not terrible. Maybe Suggs finds 2 of those. So there you go. That's looking pretty good. For this, I think I do have some projections for you. Let me see if I can find a couple of decent little projections to help you with this Jalen Suggs play at 1.5 turnovers. First projections provided by RotoWire. RotoWire, we're gonna see he's got a projection of 2 turnovers on RotoWire, putting him over 1.5 pretty easily there, right? So that's a good first projection. Second projection, go back to number 5 for this one. Number 5's got Suggs turnovers at 2.0. You can find this in the second to last column if you're using number 5. So 2 projection sites, both have him at 2 turnovers. So I'm leaving Suggs in there. I think he passes the vibe check against the Mavericks tonight. All right. Anybody disagree? I mean, I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think about the Suggs play at 1.5 turnovers? I think it looks pretty juicy. Speaking of juicy, we got 94 likes, but 191 watchers at the moment. Thank you for the 191 people who are spending some time with me looking at these player projections and player props. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. I do this on the daily. Make sure that notifications are turned on by ringing that bell. And then do your boy a favor, hit the like button. Let's earn the favor of the YouTube algorithms. The more likes, the more comments, the more that YouTube shows love to the channel and the more that we grow. We're at 10,753 subscribers. Did you see the counter above my head up there at the top of the screen? It just went up by 2. Thank you to the 2 new subscribers, 10,753 subs now. Let's get that subscriber counter up. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. I'm doing this type of stuff daily for you guys. This is why I live, why I breathe. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 37.5 points and rebounds. Our next pick, taking on the Brooklyn Nets, 37.5 for Giannis. Just a quick peek. Let's go back to props.cash and take a quick peek at these game logs, because I don't think PrizePicks gives us game logs for markets like points and rebounds, right? There's certain ones that they'll let you see the charts for. In this case, no chart for points and rebounds, no chart for points and assists, no chart for rebounds and assists. PrizePicks, you gotta upgrade them charts for us. But until they do, we've got props.cash that can bail us out. So let's go look at those together. Milwaukee versus Brooklyn. What has Giannis done this season at 37.5 points and rebounds? Well, he's only went over this line, this number once, one time. And it was against the Miami Heat. 1 for 5 this season. Giannis, like I said, kind of coming out of the gates a little bit slow. I mean, he hasn't had the easiest of matchups. You got Philadelphia on here, tough team. Atlanta, tough front court. Toronto, tough in their own right. New York, another tough team. But he did post 40 points and rebounds against Miami. Maybe this is just what we should come to expect from Giannis. Maybe he's just going to average, a lower point and rebound total than what we're used to. Maybe that's just the way it's going to be. He's averaging 32.6 points and rebounds this season. Now, I know you're wanting to take the over here, but when you look at something like this and his ability to cover 37.5 points and rebounds, it doesn't look sexy, does it? But let's go see if this is a plus EV play real quick. We're going to go check out Giannis's points and rebounds on a site like the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. At 37.5 PR, he's got about a 50.66% chance of going over, which isn't much better than a coin flip, right? Not a whole lot better than a coin flip. Points and rebounds, again, has not been Giannis's strong suit, only going over once this season. And so this is not considered the strongest plus EV play on the board. But now that we know that it is a slightly favorable over, let's go take a look at some projection models. They've got Giannis at 38.6 points and rebounds taking on the Brooklyn Nets tonight. So that does put him slightly over 37.5. Not by a lot, but we'll take it. It is an over projection. Second projection for Giannis, 36.7, let's call it. Just shy of 37.5, so that's an under. So we got one over, one under. And then the last projection was going to be provided here by Numberfire. Numberfire is going to have Giannis at 25.7 points, plus another 10.9 rebounds, putting him at 36.6, which is just shy of 37.5. So 2 out of 3 projection models have Giannis going under. It's not really that strong of a plus EV play for the over or the under. It's almost a coin flip. So Brent, I know you want to take the over on the Greek Freak, but I just don't see enough data that supports that being a strong play tonight. So for me, Giannis Antetokounmpo, you are going to the streets. You've been voted off 6-pick island, Greek Freak. I'm sorry, my friend. And then that brings us to the last one, which is James Harden at 5.5 assists. Harden at 5.5 assists, making his debut against the New York Knicks tonight for the Los Angeles Clippers. He's at 5.5. This one, we are really flying blind into this one, guys. We don't know how many minutes he's going to get. We don't know what his usage is going to be like alongside of Westbrook and George and Leonard, right? Flying blind. Don't know anything about this one. We are in the dark, as much in the dark as any pick. But for you, we're going to look into it. What does the market say right now about James Harden? Are they in or out on his assists at 5.5? Well, at 5.5 times, 50.78% chance that he goes over. 50.78% chance that he goes over. So there's a chance, a slightly better chance that he goes over 5.5 times than the chance that he goes under. So slightly better chance that he goes over than him going under. Not by much, 50.78%. So the other one's like 49.22%, right? Yeah, 49.22% that he goes under. So almost a 50-50. Take a coin out of your pocket, flip it, and essentially make your decision that way is what they're saying, is what the odds are saying. Let's take a look at the projection models. They got him at 6.2 assists on a line of 5.5. 6.2 on a line of 5.5. Puts him slightly over. Taking a look at where he is at. Let's see, does RotoWire have anything for Harden? Why do I keep doing that? Nothing for Harden. Let's go over here. There's a secret backdoor way to get some projections. They've got Harden at 5.2 assists, which puts him under by a little bit. All right, 1 over 1 under. Last projection on Harden, 7 assists, and that's Numberfire saying that. So I'm going to personally, like I said before, I'm personally going to take a seat and watch what James Harden does tonight instead of trying to predict or bet on his outcome on the assist category. Most of what I'm seeing, though, looks like he's projected to go over. So I think there's better picks on the board. There's definitely better picks on the board than that one. If you want to sweat it out, if you think you're, you've got an edge or something like that, then by all means take the over at 5.5. That would be the lean. If I were to lean one way or another on that one, it would be to the over or more. Bolden family, thank you for subscribing to the channel. We're now up to 10,755 subs. Appreciate everybody watching and subbing. All right, so we got 4 picks in here. 4 picks. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a 2-pick power and see how it goes. It'll be Tobias Harris over 3.5 3-point attempts with Jalen Suggs over 1.5 turnovers. What do you think about that one? I'll put we'll put 29 bucks on it since I'm at 2,609 in my account. I'll put 29 bucks on it. Now, if we get both of these right, obviously we'll get 3 times our money back. So we'll turn 29 into 87 if we get both right. So this was the top pick. Tobias Harris was dropped on us by Everyday Fantasy, our guy Don P in Discord and Dub Club. Checked out pretty well. So we'll take Tobias over the 3.5 3-point attempts. And then Dave Gutierrez left us this Jalen Suggs pick. So both of these guys projected to go over their lines tonight. Pretty good hit rates for both. So I'm making a 2-pick power play. Now, you don't have to feel pressed to take these 2 picks. That's just what I'm doing. It's my money. This is what I'm putting my money on. I've also put my money on these 6 NFL picks. Now, these NFL picks came from the Daily Grind Fantasy Correlation Tool. I don't know if any of these lines have moved yet. If they haven't, they might. But we took this one right off of the correlation tool here. So we're hoping that Lady Luck shines down upon us. But we got Herbert over 249.5 passing yards, with Zach Wilson over 216.5 passing yards, with Austin Eckler over 34.5 receiving yards, Garrett Wilson over 67.5 receiving yards, Gerald Everett over 26.5 receiving yards, and Thomas Morstead, the punter, to punt fewer than 5 times, under 4.5 punts. All right. So you got a 6-pick from the correlation tool. You got a 2-pick power play from your lovely super chatters out there that we looked at together. You got a couple of other plays that were lingering, ones that we haven't taken yet, which were Randall's rebounds and assists for the under 13.5. And then the other one was Tyus Jones. We could make another 2-pick power play out of this if we wanted to. Tyus Jones over 3.5 3-point attempts. I think for the Tyus Jones, I'm going to wait to see if Denny Adesia's out for Washington, because I think if he's out, Tyus Jones kind of naturally slides into sort of that third wheel role and maybe sees a little bit more usage, maybe sees a little bit more shot attempts. So I'm going to wait on the Denny Adesia news. He is questionable at this moment. So that's why I decided to go Tobias over Tyus in this case. Chris Monin coming through with a super chat. Thank you for that, Chris. Chris has got Herb Jones over 3.5 rebounds. Can we check? Can we check? Chris, can we check? Of course we can check. 171 viewers, 112 likes. We got over 100 once again. There's still about 60 of you, 50 to 60 of you out there with an opportunity to go over 0.5 likes today. I believe in all of you that you can clear 0.5 likes today. It's real simple. You just hit that thumbs up button on today's video. If you're getting any value, any entertainment, any information from today's show, take the over on the 0.5 likes, guys. I believe in all of you. You can all get 1 like today. You have it in you, and I believe. Chris wants to look at some Herbie Jones at 3.5 rebounds. Are we waiting on any news from the New Orleans Pelicans today, guys? I know they're taking on Denver, but we've had Brandon Ingram kind of on the injury report. I think Zion missed a game. Yeah, didn't Zion miss a game recently? Are we waiting on any pending Pelicans news? Let's go look. Let's just go double check. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like we're expected to see any Pelicans sitting out tonight. To reference that Julius Randle under rebounds and assist pick, you got RJ Barrett, who's listed as questionable tonight. His status may or may not impact Randle's ability to rebound and drop dimes tonight. May or may not. He's questionable. So if you want to wait on the Randle play, I don't hate that. I don't hate the wait and see approach. But anyway, I don't see any Pelicans on the injury report tonight. So I think we can proceed with Herb Jones maybe for over 3.5 rebounds. Let's take a quick peek at that one. We'll start by looking at it on the optimizer because I want to know if it's a plus EV play or not. And in this case, it is a plus EV play. We got a 53.6% chance. Out of all the Herb Jones player projections on the board right now, His rebounds over 3.5 is the best plus EV option out of all of them. So this one's got the highest percentage to hit out of all Herb Jones projections, 53.6% chance. Again, that is just going out. That's looking at the sports books like FanDuel, DraftKings, Barstool, BetMGM, Caesars, etc. It's looking at how the juice is set up on those different player props and markets and sports books. And then it strips out the VIG. It gives us true odds. And in this case, true odds minus 136 to go over, 53.6% chance when put into a percentage format. So that kind of gives you an idea. Pretty decent chance that Herb Jones collects at least 4 boards. Again, we can be as thorough as you want to be. We can spend as much time on, you know, a single pick as you want. There's a pretty deep rabbit hole that you can go down when researching player props. Props.cash makes that a little easier for everybody with these tools. So if you click on Herb Jones and you look at his rebound logs for this season, he's played 6 games. He's gone over 3.5 rebounds in 3 out of 6 games. Now, we're expecting Ingram to be in. We're expecting Zion to be in. Some of these games were played without Ingram. One of these games, I think this last game was played without Zion, I want to say. So, you know, that could potentially change things because both of those guys are expected to play tonight. So you got to keep that in mind. When you go and look at like last 5 game logs and stuff, it's not just clear cut. Last 5 games, everybody was healthy, he hit. No, you got to look into it a little deeper. Who was active? Who was in for New Orleans during those games? Who was out? That's the type of stuff you need to keep in mind when you're looking at game logs. If you're just looking at the last 5 game logs in the PrizePicks app, it can be somewhat deceiving when making decisions. But just want to lay it out there. 3 out of 6 this season for Herb Jones. He's had some good games, 8, 6, 5 rebounds, but some of those games were without Brandon Ingram. Okay. Take a look at some projections for Herb. Healthy 4.7 rebound projection on a line of 3.5. Puts him over by 1.2 boards. I love that. That's a good start. Second projection for Herb Jones has him at 5.17 boards on a line of 3.5. Gotta love that. That's looking good. 2 very solid over projections. And then a third and final projection for you on Number Fire, 4.4 rebounds for Herbert Jones. Again, putting him over 3.5 rebounds on 3 different projection models. So is it a plus EV play? You bet your booty it is. Is it projected over? Yes, 3 different models have him going over 3.5 rebounds. So Herb Jones, he's certified. So I'm waiting on the Denny news for Tyus Jones 3-point attempts. I'm waiting on the RJ Barrett news before taking Randall under 13.5 rebounds and assists. But Herb Jones, as of now, 1:27 p.m. Eastern time, does seem to check out for an over at 3.5 boards. All right. CJ McCollum is out. Does that impact Herb Jones' ability to rebound? Maybe. Who has a collapsed right lung? Whoa. Was CJ McCollum has a collapsed right lung? Oh shit. What happened to CJ McCollum? I must have missed that one. Damn. We got some more news that just rolled out. Kristaps Porzingis, his eye hurts. His eye is questionable. Kristaps Porzingis, eyeball. I don't know. Eye. He's questionable. But no, I must have missed the I missed the CJ McCollum news. That's crazy. Derek White is out. Derek White is out. Big news for the Celtics. Derek White is out. Let's go look at the optimizer with this news coming out. Maybe some things are being impacted here. Some markets are being shaken up. Doesn't really look like it. Maybe they already snatched all the Boston players off the board. I don't know. Derek White being out and Kristaps Porzingis being questionable, though, automatically your mind would shift to like Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Insane usage for those. Insane usage. Yeah, all the Boston props are gone. Well, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me, does it? Does it surprise you? Yeah. Yeah, there's no Celtics on the board right now. They've snizzatched them is up. They gone, baby. They gone. So we'll have to wait for Boston's new lines to come out once the Porzingis news has been settled, once the new lines come out. So for now, I think, we can call it quits. We can call it quits. 121 likes, 179 people watching. Hey, before you see yourself to the exit, hit the like button on your way out. Guys, I appreciate everybody being here. Dub Club members, you got plays coming. You got winning picks being delivered to you via Discord. Shout out to all my Dub Clubbers who won big yesterday. Thousands and thousands of dollars being won by our community members. Guys, if you want to join the Dub Club link is in the chat. And until next time, be safe out there. We'll see you tonight for this massive NBA slate.